Joey, Aftar, you guys were waiting around the corner. Hello, dear. Alessandro. So, guys, today I've got a bunch of stuff to do, and I will be here for 1 hour exactly. Then I gotta dash out. So hope that everybody joins us, and we'll be able to have a 1 hour at 2:11. 1 hour from now, I gotta scoot. Hello, Aftar. Nasro. Did you, in the live talk, you asked me a question, Nasro? I must have not noticed. Hello, Sandy. Good to see you. Kalani. What's up, my brother? Good, good. Thank you. Aloha. Hello, David. Alessandro says, hey, Mehran, can you describe me what love is? Can you realize you love someone after they break up with you? Can you realize you love someone? Okay. That's a bit too late, isn't it? Hello, Michael. Alexandra. Hello, dear. Nasro, you would have to write it again because I don't remember what it was. Excalibur, where have you been? You guys been absent. Many of you needs to go introduce your office, yourself to the office, because you were not attending the school yesterday. It was only a bunch of us, but most of you were out in discos and partying, I guess, because it was Friday night. But we had a good chat here with whoever was here. Definitely Excalibur was not there, so make sure stop for a detention for an hour after school. Hello, Sandy. Thank you, and it's always good to see you as well. Now, listen, guys. I can only be here for 1 hour, and we started at 1:11, so 2:11 max, or by 2. I need to scoot out. I need to dash. I've got some appointments in town that I gotta attend to. So, and in the meanwhile, I want to ask you guys, what do you think about all the changes I did on the thumbnails? Have you noticed all the thumbnails are now the same? They're all unified. So at least I thought that would give me a presence. Like when it shows, it's not different pictures of me as a thumbnail, so people will not maybe associate it all with a conformity to kind of get noticed. But when it's all the same picture, I thought it would give me a little bit of a notice, even though it's not going to be so colorful or innovative. So, what do you think, guys? Does it look like we have a bigger presence? I did lots of work during the past couple of days, and I think I did about 200 of them. So 200 out of 900 videos now have the same thumbnail, only just different titles, of course. So give me a feedback on that, if you will. Maybe not here, just a little bit here, but also in the videos that you see, just put comments, because the more comments we have and the more likes we have, the more we'll recognize by the algorithm. So if that's the trick, then you guys be aware of it. Comments, you know, just will help us on videos. Not here. Here it will disappear as soon as it's finished. So Excalibur says, Mehran, I wasn't home for quite a while. Ha ha ha. Okay. Probably visiting Korea or something. Oh. Lydia, good to see you, dear. You haven't been around for a while. Asso, hello. Asso says, you look pretty. Mehran, like a piece of cake. Oh, thank you. Well, you know, you don't call a man pretty. You call him handsome if you wish to be generous. But thank you very much. I know what you mean. I appreciate that. And Sandy says, I'm confused between the image of myself and who I am and who I think I am. Sorry to confuse you too. Don't worry, I was born confused, so don't. Of course, who you are is not the image that you have of yourself. The image is an image based on your need and the use that it may have for whatever it is that you're facing with. What you are is your center. The me, your dogmas, your religion, your nationality, your tribe, your customs, your things that you have read, things that you have come across to, people that you have met, the exposure you have received on different subjects and different matters, your habits, everything that makes you to behave and be and think the way you do, your consciousness, how it's been formed, that's your center, that's you as you know it. All the beliefs, all the conditioning, everything all together. The image is just a momentary thing, or if it serves your purpose. So, and who you are is dynamic, is constantly evolving. It depends on the level of your focus and attention on your center and understanding the difference between your thoughts and consciousness, the effect of your ego and your desire and your fear on how it is, and that you're negotiating and interacting and acting in regards to some certain topic or matter or challenge or issue or negotiation in your daily life. It is a dynamic changing that constantly, who you are is constantly evolving. And if you pay full attention, then you are with who you are, with the now, at the time, as it's evolving, as it's arising, and then you have a better information of how is best for you to negotiate something based on who you're evolving to and what evolvement, what direction, or that advancement, that change you take and you choose to be aware of it, the modifications. It needs tremendous attention and interest in understanding yourself in relation to life and understanding life in relation to you, becoming one with the energy and the flow of life, whether physical activities or in thought and consciousness, in energy and understanding the connection between you and the nature. All of that helps you to evolve, and that is who you are, which is constantly trying to modify, hopefully modify and advance to better what conditioning you have received in your consciousness, which have created your center. And that center is not supposed to be something that was created and then it will be the same all through your life. You're supposed to understand it and modify it and change it and recondition it and make it better, and then just to the point that there would be no reconditioning necessary, because you would always be with the now, with the present as things are happening, and see them as they are rather than perceiving them according to your conditioning in your consciousness, which then what you are and your center at a given time is no longer you, it's just the past of you, which would mean you never really have you as it is now. You have you as it's been conditioned to be, as a constant thing, which is really not how life is supposed to be traveled through. Hope that was confusing enough for you, because it was for me. So I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed talking about it. Lottie, I know, Lottie, you can't trick me. You're a girl. So I remember last time I didn't know. Lottie says, hello, Mehran. Oh, hello there. Maybe to ask you if an ex seems to be at the back of your mind, is it maybe telling you not to move on, or is that just a trick the mind plays? There's no trick. The mind is a recorder. It records 24/7. You're supposed to have lots of things back of your mind, but the fact is, just because something is in your mind, is in your thought, doesn't mean you should be acting on it. I could have something on my mind which may or may not be beneficial to me or beneficial to the society. It doesn't mean just because a thought has appeared, now I gotta act on it. So you have information of all kinds in your mind, and some of it could be about your ex. And so what? Thought is a thought. It's not a mandate. Thought is a suggestion, is a recognition of emotion. A thought is a thought, is not actuality, is not supposed to be pursued just because a thought has come. It's not a deity, it's not a you know, something that's, oh, it has come to me now. I have been enlightened because a thought. It's a thought. It's like a sandstorm. The wind comes and lifts up lots of sand. Just doesn't mean, it doesn't mean just because they have appeared and they're there, now you're supposed to think of them as each one of them needs to be paid attention to. It's just mishmash. It's there. You're not supposed to pay attention to thought that much. Look, mind creates a thought 24/7. Always there's something you're thinking about. But doesn't mean that just because it's thinking about, it needs to pay attention to it or be taken seriously or as if it means something. It's there. It produces things based on what material is available to it. Look, think of thought as a factory built in an area which all kinds of things are there. There's water there, there is sunshine there, there is metal there, there's garbage there, there's shit there. There's all kinds of things in that environment. Now, if this plant is supposed to make some high quality stuff. So as long as you and all the machineries, all the facility, all the assembly lines is working 24/7, it has to work. It cannot stop. It's just that's the way it's been designed to produce all these good products. As long as you feed it the good material, the gold, the silver, the diamond, the this and that, and the food and the things, it will produce for you. But if you don't give it the good material, it can't stop. It just sucks in whatever the shit is around it. And the garbage can come into the factory and go into the assembly line and go to the machine and be formed and forged, and then suddenly comes out something that you never thought. It's part of the mandate of the factory. But the factory is the maker, is a builder. It does things. If you don't give it good material, if it just finds whatever is out there, is going to grab it and put it in the machines and then turn out something which could be totally nonsense, bullshit, stinks, garbage. Are you supposed to be paying attention and treat that product that its sources or that garbage is around the environment, that the factory has pulled it into the machines and made something out of it, as if it's the product that it was designed to produce? No, you ignore it. You know, you've got people who look at the quality control people on the assembly line. So, oh, that shit, throw that. Now, you got to do the same thing in your mind. If you don't have good intentions, good thoughts, and relax, and in a way that you will have good material for your mind to produce good thoughts, it will produce all kind of garbage because it's capable. It's aware of almost everything, and it pulls in and just spit out shit because it's supposed to work. And you're supposed to have quality control person and simply not good, not pay attention to that, throw it in garbage, doesn't meet the specification, doesn't meet the standards, it's below the standards, and then you reject them. And one way of rejecting is just not pay attention to, which means focus on what you're doing. When you keep focusing on what you're doing, what happens when somebody keeps pestering you, talking to you, you're in classroom and keeps saying, psh, psh, hey, give me your pencil, hey, give me, hey, did you read it, hey, what do you do eventually? If you don't pay attention to that person, eventually shuts up because he sees there's no communication coming back. So when the thoughts keeps coming and it's of no use, you reject it, your quality control says that's garbage thought, or I've thought of it before, or it's not necessary, or it's just nonsense, doesn't pertain to me, it's just nothing, I want to think about it. So when you don't pay attention to it and focus on what you're doing constantly, what happens? Just like that person in the classroom, psh, psh, this one is also eventually says, well, this brain, this consciousness doesn't pay attention to the garbage of them, to what I'm saying, so eventually shuts up. Eventually stops expecting you to pay attention to it, and you will train it not to understand that it's not going to be paid attention to if the production is nonsense, if the thoughts are just negative or annoying, or it's not interested in by you, you're not interested in it, or whatever, disgusting, or whatever that is not of your interest. It will eventually be trained. Mind needs to be trained to know what to produce, and if there is no raw material, subject, topic of thought that you approve of, it should remain idle, not keep producing, grabbing shit around the environment and putting the garbage in and turning products out of it. That's waste of energy and useless, and it will be rejected. Once it's trained that way, then it will just simply learn that it needs to look at the trees and enjoy and relax. And if you have gotten one of my books, Me, My Psyche and I, have learned mind needs a home, and it knows where its home is, and it will be there, relaxed, waiting for you to call upon it. Mind is like a horse. Look, if you let a horse go, it has its own mind, it has its own agenda. You don't have anything to do with him, you don't want to use the horse, you don't want to ride it, you don't want to train it, you don't want to interact with it. It will go do its own thing. You can't expect the horse, when you don't have anything to do with it, hang around there, wait for you. No, it will go do its own thing. The thought the same. If you have no business to do with it, if you don't want it to learn something, focus on it, research on something, discuss something, or ponder on something, it will have its own bullshit. It does all what it wants to do, and you're supposed to not pay attention to it, just like the horse that is playing around. It has its right, the horse. And your thought, it has a mind of his own. So you need to understand that if you give your mind a home, it will be like the horse that is saddled, ready for you. Every time you want it, you jump on it and you go. But when you don't have anything to do with it, it will play around. And when it's playing around, you're not supposed to pay attention to it. Let him do his thing. Thought too. Don't bother with it. So what? It's a thought. It's not you. It's a thought, and has no basis, no value really, and no mandate. It means nothing. Thought is stupid. Based on many kind of emotion, it creates some kind of a product, and it's up to you to disqualify that product, or pay or not pay attention to it. Simple. And that is, I guess, a bit of an answer to your question. So you will have some kind of understanding of how to treat your mind, your thoughts, your consciousness, and not be following your thoughts. You know, thoughts. Read my Transient Thoughts and Me book. There'll be lots of information there. Okay, now let's move on. I guess I forgot what the rest I wanted to say. Perhaps you guys were saved by the bell, otherwise I'd go on for another hour, which we only have 1 hour, guys. Now, guys, push the like before you guys forget. And So that was Lottie's question. Okay, so so it's telling you nothing. Just it tells you just just use your rationality and and that. It's just because something is in your head, there's no mystic about it. It's not coming from the outer space, or it's not a commandment. All right, David, finally I get a notification that a live talk is on. Haha, for some reason I wasn't alerted the last 2 talks. Really? That is, have you not pushed that bell thingy? I guess there's a bell, you're supposed to push it so the bell will now signify that it will alert you. And another David says, how to overcome disappointment. When you don't focus on the efforts that you have made in accomplishing, doing something, then you will only focus on the result. And if the result is not what you expected, then you'll be disappointed. In that case, you focus on the effort, that you did your best, and that's good enough. If you only want to be result-oriented in life, you're not living. And you will end up cheating, you will end up going shortcuts, you will end up not enjoying the process of what it is that you want to accomplish, because it's only about results. No, life is a journey, so is everything else a journey. Yeah, I understand we want good results in many things that we do, but as long as we have done our best, what else do you expect? Disappointed is something that you, in comparison to the other things and what you expected it, what you wanted it to be, the effect of it, if it's not going to be as what you wanted it to be, how it's going to affect you, and all that is what disappointment is a sort of a fear. When you compare how it could have been if this was done this way, how it would have been if I would have received this kind of a result, and why wouldn't it be the way I wanted to because it didn't turn out to be that way. So all these is like against what I hoped for, so I'm now disappointed. Why are you disappointed? You did your best, and you tried, and you're going to find another way to tackle it. So what's the disappointment for? What does disappointment do for you? You are the one who allows disappointment when it comes to your mind to be sad. Why? Instead of being that, spend your energy to figure out how I can improve this. Look at my channel. Well, as you can see, I'm having live talks almost every day, and you all love it, and lots of people around the world are benefiting it, has life-changing effects, but the results is not there. It's been 5 years. What do you think I'm going to do? Disappointed? Maybe I will think, what should I do? What is it that I should learn how to market this thing? Where can I focus on? What things I have to change? Yeah, you know, last night, what was it, a couple of nights ago, I slept at 6 o'clock in the morning. Why? All through night, I had this computer in front of me and trying to change the thumbnails. And it's a long process. I think I was able to do maybe 200-300 of it. Or out of 900, 200 of them changed. It's all about figuring out to go one step further. Disappointment doesn't give you anything. So what good does it do? If it comes to your mind, I want to be sad, I'm disappointed. Say why? Instead of that, figure out what else you got to do to make it happen. Because obviously that is something that you want. So your focus on what you want to achieve should be far bigger than your so-called disappointment or the momentary, temporary steps that hasn't taken you where you wanted to go. If you think that way, disappointment means nothing. It means just something that's trying to distract you. Don't. Disappointment, but you know, Disney should have been disappointed with the way he, poor thing, you know, drew all these characters and nobody paid attention to, and he finally, after years, he sold one of his character, and then he lost the right to it, and then he couldn't capitalize on that, and it could take years, and eventually he made a movie which he spent all his money and had to mortgage his house, but he didn't give up. He should have been disappointed, right? You can be disappointed if you want, or think about, oh, I didn't get the result that I wanted, but it shouldn't stop you. And disappointment should not be heavy enough to anchor you and hold you from actually propelling. Every disappointment should make you stronger, that you want what you want if it's reasonable, if it's positive, if it's not hindrance to the society and to the other people, if it's of good character, then you should pursue it, and then eventually you will come to see its stage of fruition as you hoped it to be. Okay. Nasru says, my question was how you break up someone who loved me so much. Tell me the easier way to do it. I'm sorry, you say, how can you break up with someone who loves you? Because how can you? Well, talk to the person, say, listen, I know you love me so much, but somehow I don't have the same feelings, and I think there are other things I want to accomplish before I want to get serious in some relationship, and at the moment I'm not there. Maybe in the future, I don't know, but at this time I need to let you free and not enjoy myself with the attention you give me, and I need to have a free mind that I'm not committed to anything and I'm not hurting anybody, so I can accomplish my life and what I have in mind, and you can do the same. And who knows, maybe a few years from now, if we may run into each other again, we'll assess it again. But at the moment, I don't think it's something that we should pursue, something like that, if that's what you're asking. And Excalibur says, careers for later. Yeah, it may, but I don't I don't swing that way, Excalibur. So Aso says, Mehran, I have a question. How to maintain a relationship of abusive father? What does PS stand for? I still live in his house, so what to do? Also, I have a question. Do men marry girls when they slept with before marriage? Is there anything wrong with that? Two questions. First question is that you say your father is abusive. Well, depends on what do you mean by abusive. If he's expects you to be home at a certain time, or I don't know, do your homework or do your job or whatever it is that they expect you, it's just the way of the rule of your house, and there is no physical or emotional abuse. It's just expectations, and some parents are pretty strict, and that could come from their own fear of being able to keep things together and provide for the family, and the things that they're up against, which they should be aware not to have it extend in their relationship with their children or their wife, but some people not necessarily see it. But if the abuse is in any kind of other way, physical and whatnot, well, of course, then you have your options of, talk to your mother and talk to, then your mother can also help you to know what to do. And depends on what kind of extent the abuse is. It is just kind of being rude to you, or is anything else involved? Then you have other options, legal options, and so on and so forth. But the other thing is that you can simply build your life, focus on what you're doing, just tolerate the rules of the house, and then get your education together, get a job, and then move on, have your own place to live, and then you will be independent. Perhaps that would be in the case that nothing serious or dangerous is threatening you, or is in the environment that you live in. It's just assumption. I don't know enough about the situation to make any any more detailed and focused suggestion. Now, the other question you say, so says, also, I have a question. Do men marry girls they slept with before marriage? You mean if a man sleeps with a girl before marriage, then would he still marry that girl? Why do you just ask that question as if it's up to the man Well, you are an entity in there. What about you? Would you get married to the guy who you slept with before marriage? That answer should be the same the other way around as well. Why not? What's the problem there? If it's all about traditions and tribal customs and all that, otherwise, what's wrong with two people want to get married and they've slept together? What's wrong with that? People get sleep together because they love each other or they're interested in each other, and that has nothing to do with diminishing their value of any kind. It's not like a plum or peach you're buying. Oh, you touched me, so I'm no longer me. Nobody's going to look at you because you've been touched. What kind of bullshit is this? This is the traditional way that's been pumped into girls' heads and to boys' heads as well in many different cultures since times have passed, and still in some areas and some cultures still going in many parts, and again due to conditioning, religious beliefs and all that so forth. But sex is part of life, and two people love each other, like each other, and they're together, they know each other, eventually they have a consensual agreement and they sleep together. So it's part of experience of life. I mean, one of course would look at it differently if you know, if it's not overly engaged in that kind of activity with all different kind of in other words, as long as you don't become the village bicycle that everybody has a ride, then it'll be okay. Let's put it that way. Either way. But the most important thing is when you guys actually get together and commit to each other. From then on is important, if you guys you know, stay together and not run around. But before you guys meet, you can run around, I guess, depending on your beliefs, culture, and preferences. And if you run around with each other before marriage, so what? What did you want to do? Be wrapped in a I don't know, wrapping paper, and nobody even look at you before you guys get married? These are some opinions that you know, come from different places. Depends on what your exposure to that conditioning is. Otherwise, you should treat it as normally as possible. People get to know each other, they like each other, and if it's cordial and proper, they want to sleep together, so they talk with each other. If they both agree, they're both of you know, legal age according to their rules and regulations, they do. But different countries, different traditions, different customs. So I guess that's as far as I can go with this. Sam says, my girlfriend lost her feelings in me, so she left. Well, why would you want someone to stay with you if she doesn't have feelings for you? So that's good news for you. At least you know that she's not there not having feelings for you. You know that she's not there. That means you're not dealing with someone that you think she has a feeling for you, but she doesn't. So it's very apparent for you. She didn't have feelings, she left. Okay, bye-bye. Next. You go for next possibility. And we have I lost it. Kalani says, what is it? It says, oh, I lost it all. Where is it? Gee, this thing jumps. Gee, what happened here? Whew. There it is. Kalani says, also I asked him something like that before, because Christians believe marriage before. I see. I'm sorry, but I have to ask this too. Asso says, I'm sorry, but I have to ask this too. How to F people's exes in the head, make them confused and cry for losing you? Why would you want to do that? Why don't you be satisfied the fact that someone who broke up with you or doesn't like you or doesn't want you or whatever is no longer in your life, and you're free to go and explore other possibilities? Why do you have to expect them to suffer or cry to be satisfied? Why would that give you any pleasure? Which one would you give it pleasure? You know, this is very interesting. Listen to this. They say God sent his angel around the world, around the universe, to bring reports to see how people live. So apparently the angel goes and to different countries, and apparently one of the places stops is France, and he sees that this person is praying before sleep, and he's praying, says, God, please help me. My neighbor has 10 cows and 2 sheep, and I have nothing. Please give me 2 sheep, or 1 sheep and 1 cow, or 2 cows as well. Then so anyhow, he's now gone around the universe and he's back to God and he's reporting. God says, what's happening? He says, well, this is what I saw. He says, what did you see? He said, well, I went to France and this is what the prayer was. And then he says, I went to Germany and I saw that the person is praying and saying, God, my neighbor has 100 cows and 300 sheep, and I've got nothing. Could you please add to my stock? I got a little bit, but another 10 cows to mine and another few sheep, so I can have a better year next year. And then the angel continues his report, says, I also went to Japan, and they also had somebody was praying and saying, God, my neighbor has this much money and or this many stocks, horses and so on, and I have only 5. Please give me 10 more so I can also have good horses for the races and stuff. And then he says, I went to another country, which was where I was born. He says, I went to Iran. And I say that because I was born there, so therefore there's no malice here intended. That's really how some countries are, or some other countries, not necessarily there. And he said, I saw the man is saying, praying, and says, God, my neighbor has 300 horses, 200 cows, and 300 sheep, and I've got nothing. He's rich and I'm not. Please, kill all of his all of his stock, the horses and the cows, so he'll also have nothing. You see, the mentality is different here. Some people simply are focused on getting something and increasing and enhancing their lives. And that will make them happy by seeing other people have something, and they also want to have something. But other people, somehow, they say, because I don't have anything, I want the other person also not have anything, rather than give me also something. So the positive thinking, the extension of energy, should be first and foremost in your mind. You need to focus on making yourself happy by getting what you want, rather than trying to make somebody suffer just because something you don't have or you're suffering. Anyhow, the story was too long to, it was a translation, so it was hard to get it going, but I hope you guys got the idea. So, now, Aso says, Mehran, does reputation really matter? As people will judge you anyway? Yeah, well, you know, if you want to live for, well, reputation of what kind? Like if I have a reputation of being honest, well, that's good. If one has a reputation of being dishonest and he's dishonest, well, that's not good. So in that case, it does matter. But if you're talking about if they say, oh, that girl has been sleeping around with that guy and that guy and that guy and that guy, that guy has this girlfriend and has been with that one and with that one and well, that kind of reputation is only goes so far, because it really is none of anybody's business. It's your life and how you want to perceive and pursue your life, and it's between you and somebody else that you have a relationship with. And you know, that is not supposed to be dominating you, just what people think. So on that note, you shouldn't give a damn what really people think. But I understand it's sometimes difficult because of your cultural rules and regulations, how pressure of the society and the way they look at you, all that bad energy and negative energy, which really means nothing. It's none of their goddamn business anyhow. But that's the society you live in. So might as well live in a society that doesn't have this kind of a negativity and approach. Sandy says, oh my gosh, Mehran, I will have to keep listening to your reply. Thank you. Why? What happened? Okay. Excalibur, okay, these guys are talking to each other. All right. Excalibur says, Mehran, what would the world look like if every single person was deeply in love? Would it be a blessing or a curse to deal with people drunk in love, smiling at everything, and being over nice? Well, you know, the world is dynamic. Nobody is going to be, even if they're all in love, they wouldn't be behaving just smiling at everything, because there's a self also involved in there. So if something is not according to bringing benefit to you, to yourself, regardless of if you're in love or not, you still would be reacting to it differently. So just being in love doesn't mean you're going to be stupid about everything, or careless, or, you know, oblivious. It just means when you're with your girlfriend, you're going to be, you know, very happy. So all right, so we have lots of conversation between people, which is fine. Let's see. Excalibur says, Mehran, I notice when you drink your tea, you, or whatever, you make an angry face. It stops the positive energy. Ruining my coffee. I was like, do I? I don't. It's because it's light coming through. See? Ah. See, I squinch. Because naturally when you want to drink, I go up, and when I go up, there is more light from the clouds. And so I squint, so I don't have to deal with that, so I can enjoy this. I see, but look at this now. See, there's no sun here, so I don't squint, see? But when I let this go, I have to go like that. Good observation. All right. Nasser says, actually, I'm in... Okay, that's not for me. Oh, your question, Nasro. What question? I didn't see your question. There is no question, Nasro. No, I don't see your question, Nasro. If that's because right now I don't know who's talking to me, who's talking to each other. There's so many things going on. Tiffany, happy Saturday, Tiffany. Yes, thank you. Nasro says, but I loved him. Oh, you're. I don't know. I don't know if these questions are for me, so I tend to jump when I see it's not addressed to me. But I love him so much. Just things is Mehran, the age of. Oh, is it? So it's a continuation of another question. But I loved him so much. Just things is Mehran, the age difference. That's all my connection. Oh, I see. So you were the one who asked how to break up with someone easily. Is that the? Was that your question? Let's see. Let's see. Oh yes, yes, yes. I see. I see. So you were the one who talked about that. So Nastro says, I loved him so much. Just things. Thing is, Mehran, the age difference. Yes, okay. And all my connection is really very bad where I am right now, my dear. Okay. Aso says, well, if it's physically abusive, then you should, you know, call the family members, or if that doesn't work, you know, if it's a serious abusive physical relationship, it's not like pushing you, which you can then tell your mother or, you know, other family members, and they could have him, you know, resolve it. But if it's, I am sure you mean to that level, just pushing you or something, or maybe, I don't know, slapping you on the arm or something. But that should be dealt with seriously with your mother's help and the other member of the family. And if it's further than that, then obviously there should be authorities involved, and then you should be safe. But this is something you can decide, because I don't know really the extent of it, and I'm just assuming the meaning of the word, but I don't really know exactly. So you should always make sure that you will be safe. Maybe you should go and live with one of the relatives, maybe your auntie or somewhere that you will feel comfortable and safe, and so on. And then continue your endeavor. Make sure you're physically and emotionally safe, especially physically. And I think with the background that you come from, when you say physically, I assume you just means, you know, like if your dad has yelled at you or pushed you or maybe slapped you on the arm. That's my assumption. If it's any further than that, then I guess the authorities, you should be able to go and ask for help from the legal authorities of your country. Nasser said, but I will listen later on your answer. Thank you so much. You're welcome, dear. Nasser says, Mehran, please say what kind of Mehran, please say, quote, what kind of bullshit this is. Again, you made me laugh. I love you. Okay, thank you very much. I think today you guys are all nuts. You're not, you're just I don't know what you guys are just in a goofy mood. It's Saturday. Anyhow, what time is it? I gotta dash. I don't want to be late. Let's see. Okay, we've got another 5 or 6 minutes, then I'm gone. So looks like that we actually, ooh, Aso says, Mehran, please adopt me. I'm serious. I'll be a good girl. Excalibur says, Mehran, that was a fantastic drinking demo without squinching. Ah, yes, okay. Carpe diem, you have been absent. Good to see you, Mehran. He says, good to see you, dear. Where have you been? I look at suffering at a baseline to be human. I look at suffering as a baseline to be human. To get out of suffering is to have a target and aim. Good. Good. Never try to bring impermanent to permanent, as that would be a beginning of suffering. Sandy says, sorry to confuse you again. I just have to listen to your reply many times to be able to understand image conditioning and my center. I hope this explains. Yes, it does, Sandy. Thank you very much. I got it. Excalibur says, also, you look handsome without glasses. If you go outside without glasses, girls will certainly give you extended looks with a clear interest in your in your horse. Really? That horse is not mine. I mean your personality. Okay. Okay, good. Thank you. Yes, I will consider that. So if I see someone who actually a lady who smiles at me, I will quickly take my glasses off. So to increase my chances. All right, guys, I think we've had a good time, and I love you all. Thank you very much for spending this time with me. I am sorry I have to dash today. I've got some appointments to take care of in downtown, and in the meantime, be good to yourself and to the others. I hope I'll have another one tomorrow. I'm not sure, but we look forward for the next time that we can meet and have a nice chat. Be good to yourself, to the others, and I talk to you soon. Bye for now.